Hello, my name is Evelyn, and recently I've changed my channel name from evelyneats to tapiocapress, and for some reason I decided to make a video to let the internet know about it, which now I'm starting to question. But anyways, the camera is rolling. I'm gonna talk about why I changed my channel name because that topic in and of itself does not add any value to anybody. I'm also going to share what I've been reading in quarantine / on my TBR. Let's dive into it. If you've been watching me from Evelyn Eats, first of all, thank you. I've started posting vlogs mostly about food since the end of 2019. I've just hate the name Evelyn Eats from the very beginning. It is the most generic, unimaginative name ever that also manages to make me feel guilty every time I post something that is not food related. And so I decided to make a new channel name, tapiocapress, which is a little less generic and a lot more confusing. And that is today's video. But on a more serious note, I feel like my channel is more of a vlog channel than it is a food channel nowadays. So I just wanted a channel name that makes me feel okay making content that's not strictly related to food. Recently, since I've had a lot of time during quarantine, I've read many books, which is something new to me. I loved reading when I was a kid, but since I started college, I just kind of got lost in like the hustle of trying to get a job and blah blah blah, and just never brought myself to like sit down and read. I wanted to make some reading vlogs for you guys in the coming weeks because I have really enjoyed reading during quarantine, and to segue into that, I'm just gonna briefly go over a list of books I've read during quarantine. So, recently, I've read Call Me By Your Name. If you've heard of this book, you've probably already seen this movie. In my opinion, the book is equally as good as the movie, if not better. If you like the movie, I'm sure you will fall in love with this book as well. I have also read 2 of the Harry Potter books. If you've seen my room makeover video, you know I was really excited to reread it for the 20th time, but you know, in English for the first time. I've gone through 2.5 books over the past month or so. To be honest, I feel like I'm in too much of a nihilist mindset at this point to be okay with this idealistic world of Harry Potter. I think it's beautiful, I think it's amazing, but right now it's kind of hard for me to relate to this fantasy world of right versus wrong and good versus evil. So I just stopped reading after realizing that I had to force myself to turn the pages. But I still love Harry Potter, and I hope to pick the series up and finish it some other time when there is no pandemic going on around the world and I am not desperate or frustrated or losing my mind. Another book I recently finished, A Little Life by Hanya, yanagihara. It's been really popular around YouTube and Instagram. I don't know what gave me the courage to attempt to read a 700-page book. This is like the British edition. The American edition probably has like more than 800 pages. I don't think it's as torturous as many people say it is on the internet, but I just feel like it's not as tender and subtle as Call Me By Your Name. Maybe because my expectation for A Little Life was too high, I didn't love it, although I really enjoyed reading it. And if you love a good kind of long novel, then I would recommend this to you. I read There a while ago when quarantine just started. It was a little hard for me to get into. The first few chapters I thought were a little boring. It's about interconnected life stories of 12 Native American people who are connected by a powwow, how their life stories are basically embodiments of the painful Native American history. I love this book, and if possible, I want to like pick it back up and read it again sometime. Another book I read is Homo Deus by Yuval Noah Harari. You've probably heard of Yuval Noah Harari's first book, Sapiens. Harari talks about how because of technology, humans and our labor will gradually lose relevance as we go into the future, and it's up to us today to figure out how to work with the evolving role that humans have in this world. This book honestly is kind of a grim look into the future. I read this book when I was feeling down and was kind of questioning like the meaning of life. I don't think this made it any better. Regardless, it offers a lot of fantastic viewpoints about humans' place in history and future, and it's definitely, as all of Yuval Noah Harari's books, very intellectually stimulating. But you know, if you don't want to think talk about heavy subjects for the time being, then I would recommend staying away from this book. The last two books I've read recently are Little Fires Everywhere by Celest and another one of her books, which I don't have with me right now, is called Everything I Never Told You. So Little Fires Everywhere, as you can see, was recently made into a Hulu show. It talks about these intertwined fates of mostly two but three families in suburban America, and how socioeconomic status, class, and very subtle but real racism play into the lives of everyone. I finished the TV series first and then read the book. The plots are actually quite different. If you've already seen the TV show, the book is still worth reading. They're just two very different and yet both well-written stories. Everything I Never Told You is actually my preferred one. It's about a Chinese American girl, Lydia, who killed herself, and the very tiny little nudges in her life and in her family that pushed her to decide to take her life, and how her family grieves around her loss and eventually like finding a better way to get along with each other and with their own lives. It kind of reminds me of 13 Reasons Why, if you've seen the Netflix show. I really relate emotionally to this story because I share a lot of the struggles of an immigrant that is really well expressed in the book, and because I grew up in an Asian household as well, the high expectation placed on children by, I feel like, lots of parents, but in particular Asian parents, really resonate with my own personal experience. These are the books I've read so far. It's really not a lot considering I've been in quarantine for like 6 months now, but nonetheless they helped me rediscover my love for reading, and I want to continue to read more books even after quarantine is over. I also have 4 books that I plan to read in the next month, so you can call this like my mini TBR. The first one is The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy. I've already gone through like more than half of the book, and I'm filming a reading vlog for you guys to just share my week of like reading this book and how I feel about it. After The God of Small Things, I plan to read Normal People by Rooney, because how can you get through the summer without Normal People? And because you get a better deal if you buy 2 of these books, I also got A Conversation with Friends by Sally Rooney, so I wanted to kind of read and compare these two. Also, Such a Fun Age by Reid. I discovered Reid from this tag of Black authors going around on Instagram. I appreciate discovering her this way, but I want to get to know her as an author in her own right, as opposed to, oh, like I am reading this book because hashtag Black Lives Matter. But yeah, I guess that is the very first video from tapiocapress. If you're new here, feel free to check out some of the videos I've made before, and subscribe if you like to consume content. For real, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you next time.